Public hearing is now closed. Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mayor. We're recommending this because our comprehensive plan encourage us to incorporate other areas into the city through several mechanisms, and basically annexation is one of them. By annexing this area, what staff is asking permission to do is to proceed in looking at the opportunity here through this process, and it would square off the northern part of the city. If you look at the northern part of the boundaries of our city, they're very jagged. And Miami-Dade County encourages us to incorporate areas that are adjacent to our property, connected to our property, especially if there are areas that we serve water to. And it will work seamlessly because it will sort of like join and square off the city. So we are respectfully recommending to proceed to analyze the fiscal impacts of annexing this area into the city.
Thank you. Council discussion? Anyone wishes to record or no? Mr. Clerk.
Tab E, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue a purchase order for one new Vancon VAC-CON sewer cleaning vacuuming combination cleaner, model V311HN100, with specified optional equipment to be placed in service by the Public Works Department at a cost not to exceed $242,975.81 from Southern Sewer Equipment Sales to piggyback a competitive bid award issued by the Florida Sheriff's Association and Florida Association of Counties under the off-road utilities, medium, heavy trucks, and other fleet equipment. Bid number 13-11-0904, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion? Anybody wishes to record or no? Mr. Clerk, tab F.
Okay, for the record, tab E passes 5-0. Tab F, proposed resolution of the
So
mayor.
did tab D. You didn't say anything.
Yeah, no, that's what I forgot. And that's what I'm
So D
just
and
to
E.
clarify for the record.
Thank you.
Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's ranking, results, and selection of PACCOM Inc. as the highest ranked firm for the provision of design-built services for the North Bay Shore Park Fishing and Viewing Pier in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications of requests for proposals number 11-13-14, and further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for the provision of design-built services, design development, permitting, and construction services for the North Bay Shore Park Fishing and Viewing Pier in the amount not to exceed $596,500.
Is there a motion on tab?
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing is open on tab F. Public hearing is now closed. Anybody who wishes to record or no?
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
The $596,000. Did we only have $400,000 the last time, or $600,000?
I apologize. I'm going to ask staff to assist me with those numbers.
I don't remember we had that much money for that
Yeah,
project.
some of it was a grant,
Mhm.
and but
Okay.
Given Mayor and Honorable Council to Mark Anthony Tulloch, Purchasing Manager, we have a grant for $300,000 with matching funds of another $300,000.
Okay, that's what I remember. All right, then. It's a project that's well overdue.
Anyone wishes to record or no? Or any other discussion before we pass on vote? Anybody who wishes to record a no? Let's move, Mr. Clerk.
That was tab F. Tab F passes 5-0. Tab G. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the pre-qualification of a group of licensed, insured, and bonded general contractors which meet or exceed the qualifications established by city administration in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the request for qualification number 14-13-14 sidewalk replacement and installation services, special program, and further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute individual agreements with selected contractors on an as-needed, when-needed basis in order to effectuate the sidewalk replacement and installation project at locations throughout the city of North Miami in aggregate amount not to exceed $1,500,000, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
What
There's
does
a
that
motion.
mean?
Is there a motion?
So move.
I second it for discussion. I really
Well,
want
then
to know what does that mean.
public hearing is open. Then we can discuss
gonna
it.
know.
Go ahead.
Public hearing is open on tab G. Public hearing is now closed. Open for discussion with the council. Mr. Manager, would you please explain?
Sure. There are, our sidewalk condition has been evaluated throughout the city. It has been prioritized as to the areas that need to be addressed. So, and we also know that there has been funding for capital improvement allocated. We do not have $1.5 million totally to be allocated, but in the event as funding does become available, as funding is secured in the future, staff wanted to present a list of qualified contractors, sort of like the roofing program, where we don't have to come back before council each and every time we proceed with a sidewalk project. So we was designed for council to approve this, and once the work total, wherever we seek the funding from, it won't exceed 1.5 million. When it does, then of course we would go through another RFP process to get other qualified vendors. We did an RFP. There were 13 contractors that responded.
RFQ.
RFQ. There were 13 contractors that responded, 12 of which we are pre-qualified. So what we envision that as work becomes available, we will sort of have a rotation list, and these are the contractors that would be available to do sidewalks. Opposed, again, the objective is so that we don't have to come before council each and every time. It's
So
sort of
if
like
I
the roofing
understand very
program.
well, you want to do pocket projects, 40,000 here, 50 there, 20 here, until we reach that $1.5 million, or we find more money. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, we've prioritized sidewalks.
Is it part of the list that was established throughout the
Yes.
city?
That's
Where
correct.
you going to find the $1.5 million?
Well, right now, we'll be going into the new budget season.
And when did the RFQ went out?
The RFQ went out a few weeks ago. I'm not for certain of the total.
We published
date.
RFQ on March 11th.
March 11th.
Can you go back?
Oh,
Because I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah,
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
ask
Go,
the
go, go,
question.
go.
I
Sorry,
did
go,
not
go, go,
understand.
go. Because I don't either. Go ahead.
Is this something new that we just started doing? I don't understand.
Me either.
No, it's a lot easier because we saw that the roofing program went very
Yeah,
well.
but the roofing program,
It's part of the CDBG.
we had money.
That's correct.
The council up here decided we allocated money for that project. Then we ask you to go out to acquire a couple of not developer. How do you call them?
Contractors.
Contractors. and then you guys go about doing an RFP, then you select them, and we know those people are there, and we move on with the project.
That's correct.
But what I'm seeing now, actually, I was concerned. I thought that you were talking about the $1.5 million, the famous $1.5 million that we had for District 3. I was concerned. I was wondering, how did we come about spending it for the entire city? That's when I read it. That's what I thought. That's why I asked. I didn't understand it. But right now, I'm even more confused. Actually, I'm not even confused. I'm making a motion to table this item because it doesn't make any sense. We cannot have go out, do RFQ, and have builders, contractors come in, then staff take into their own hand, allocate money for a project that we up here never asked for, and we don't even know where we're gonna have the money. And you talk, it doesn't make any sense.
Not only that. Hold on, Mr. Bien-Aimé. For the sake of transparency, I believe that we need to do this the same way that the city have conducted business. The pocket contracts, it's really mind-boggling to me. When you came up with that item, I had the same concern, and I'm still having that same concern. I don't think, for the sake of this city and the transparency of this administration, we should start giving pockets money here, pockets money there for project unknown. This might cause this and this might cause that. If we have a project or projects for the city, I remember regarding the sidewalks that needs to be redone, there is a grant first with the state regarding those trees that are killing those sidewalks on the west side and the central side of the city. The black olives are eating the sidewalks and people's driveway. And the first move should be to get the money, replace the trees, and then get some money to redo all the sidewalk. Doing pocket here and pocket there, it's not gonna serve the purpose. It's just a drop in the bucket. If we're going to do capital improvement, it has to be capital. It cannot be cheap improvement.
Sure. Mayor,
I had a
may I say
motion on
something?
the table.
I have a
Mr. Bien-Aimé?
And from what I understand, city manager, we have a list of companies from a previous RFQ to the project in the city. When we came on board in June, I remember the mayor said, you need to do an RFQ to bring more people on board. From what I understand, we have a list of companies already. If tomorrow we want to do sidewalk, we have a list of companies. What you did in February is to reopen it, the pool. We can bring more companies on board.
I agree with you.
That's what you did.
But that's not my concern, though.
But that's what it is. The only thing you did in that, it's to add $1.5 million where you don't know where the money is going to come from. Right?
Mr. Manager.
But
Mr. Manager, excuse me, Vice
No,
Mayor,
it's
Vice
two
Mayor,
things.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
I think we should probably go with Councilwoman's suggestion to table this until we find
but
out
we
where
need to
that
clarify.
$1.5
We need to
million
clarify.
is going to come from.
If you allow me.
How could I go and buy what's the car that you drive, Mr. Mayor?
A Bentley.
A Hyundai.
A Ferrari.
Okay, I'm going to go and sign a contract for the Bentley, and then I'll find out how am I going to pay for it.
No,
But no,
that's not what it
Madam,
is. Can we be
may I?
serious? That's not what it
But no,
is.
no, but may I?
That's not what it is.
Mr. Bien-Aimé, Councilwoman
May I
has the
finish?
floor, and then you can get it.
I
after.
agree.
You can
with-
have it afterwards.
I agree with the councilman. We did talked about we need to have
To reopen the
to-
bid to get more companies, to get everybody
yes,
a chance.
we did.
Because right now, if I want to do sidewalk in my district, we have a list where we can and send an RFP and people are going to come on board, right? Or you can select companies from the list that you already have.
Here's what I'm gonna do to clarify, because it seems like we're gonna be here for a very long time if we're gonna discuss this, because that's not what the councilman is saying, which I agree with. That's not what here. I'm going to table this item and ask to put on the next agenda the list of the new contractors that you actually conduct the RFP or RFQ with to come, if according to the charter or through the city attorney, if there's something that we need to be voted on, put it on the agenda, that the list of the contractors that you actually selected, the new one, if we needs to be voted, bring it before us to vote. But the $1.5 million, $200,000, or 50 cents should not be part of it, because it doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask, Madam Attorney.
So that's what I'm asking right now.
Is it legal to bring the list, the name of those contractors here to the dais?
The name should be on
They're-
here.
they're- they're in the
They're already in your packet.
Yeah, it's
The
just the
names
money
are-
that should not be. If we
So-
can make the amendment tonight to
It's-
remove the
yeah,
money, I don't mind. I'll vote on it.
I was going to suggest
Yeah.
that perhaps,
Yeah, so
since
it's
the issue is really surrounding the monetary amount, you can
Correct.
just remove that and say that this list
I
is
make a friendly
approved.
amendment to remove the amount of the money that should spend
The 1.5.
on sidewalk, and then allow those companies. That means that if we have those companies right now, you cannot add any other company. This is locked.
No,
it's
that's
open.
not
No,
true.
from
I'm just-
purchasing,
I'm just-
it's open.
Wow,
Vice Mayor, would you
just
please-
get a degree on purchasing?
she
What
said
is
no.
what's going
Vice
on?
Mayor,
From what
would
I
you
have
please
to
speak when you have the
purchase,
floor, please? Speak when you have the floor.
What's going on?
Madam Attorney, go ahead.
It is not closed, so the city can always add new contractors by reissuing an RFQ or by
Why is there a open date and closing date for the RFQs? If
To
it's an
al-
open thing, why do we have an open and closed date for people to answer?
I'll probably
And what are
defer
the
to our
means?
procurement
What are the
director.
means of media have you used to ensure that everybody has the fair share of information of that RFQ?
On a standard practice for establishing a pre-qualification pool of contractors, and when we publish an RFQ, we set a firm opening and closing date. We'll award an initial pool of contractors, and upon a renewal, we'll reopen and do a supplemental advertisement to add additional contractors.
Where do you do advertising?
We advertise via our website, the Manstar, and Business Daily Review, as is our standard practice for our RFPs.
Really?
But you know what? I think this item should table and come back before.
Yes.
And I've got one question because I don't even know who's speaking to us. So, yeah, let's table this.
Yeah, I think
So,
this needs to be
would you
tabled and
please
come back.
formulate your motion, Madam Sterol?
I table
You're making a motion to?
the item.
Is
to
there
the
a
next
second?
council
Second.
meeting.
Anybody who wishes to record a nay? Mr.
No.
Clerk?
Mayor, just for the record, we had a motion on the table made by BNMA Sterling. There's no vote on that motion. The second motion was motion made by Sterling to table this item. It was seconded by Councilman.
Which one we voting on?
We-
Because
no,
you did a
it was
friendly
already-
amendment, and
right.
after that you...
Right, and that one was, there was no vote, so that first motion
I'm
died.
voting on all of them at
And then,
the
so
same
the
time.
second motion was made by Councilwoman Sterling, seconded by Galvin. This motion was to table the item,
Right.
and it's a 4-1. The only person who voted no on the second
Wait,
motion.
what did you, we voting on?
There was no vote on the first,
Yeah, the mayor said anyone wishes to record a no.
on...
On this, no, the first
on
one, there was no
vice
vote.
Which-
mayor? Oh, you said there was a vote.
There was no vote on the first
I'm glad you're
motion.
clarifying all of this.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's why.
We moved to
Oh.
continue this item.
Exactly. So the first motion, there was no vote, so that motion died. The second motion was the motion made by Councilwoman Steril to table this item. It was seconded by Councilman Galvin, and it went 4-1. The only person who voted no was Vice Mayor BNMA, and that's
Okay.
for the record.
Thank you.
Okay.
And may I guess that the last person who's speaking is Mark Anthony Tulloch, our new purchasing manager? Yes. All right, we've not been introduced, so, and I didn't know there was a new purchasing manager, and I'm obviously a little bit out of the loop these days, so thank you.
Tab H, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's ranking and selection of Hidalgo Construction Group LLC as the highest ranked contractor to remove, furnish, and install approximately 1,500 linear feet of new fencing in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the invitation for bid number 22-13-14, Sanssouci Alley Fence Replacement Project, and further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for the provision of the fence replacement project with the selected contractor at a cost not to exceed $197,058.95, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Any second?
We're on H.
We on
Yeah,
H.
second.
Sure.
Public hearing is open on tab H. Public hearing is now closed. Open for discussion.
Just hoping it'll pass. This is for the wall and the alley in Sanssouci that we're getting done.
Is this item has been around for is it the same wall that we have been talking about
Yes.
for the longest?
Yes.
Like
This was
8 years
approved
ago,
in your
9 years
Biscayne
ago?
Landing funds originally in the previous council.
That's
It's taken
correct.
this long to get it done.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Gani?
It's taken a long time because the association could not decide on what type of fence they wanted.
So it's
there
decided
was
and
some-
it's ready to
Yes,
move.
and then we had to, once we went with one fence, we had to go out and get another one. We finally came to a conclusion that this is what everybody agreed on. We put it out for bid, and we do have a company, and we're ready to install at this point.
Okay, ready
If
to
you
go.
desire to pass it.
Thank you. That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Would you please make sure that the AC is as cold as it was 15 minutes ago?
I don't think there's a problem with the AC, Madam Mayor. So don't say anything about it. They'll know our business.
On tab H, anybody wishes to record a no? Mr. Clerk,
Tab H passes 5-0. Tab I, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving a memorandum of understanding between the city of North Miami and the Dade County Police Benevolent Association, Inc., to implement a voluntary retirement incentive for eligible bargaining unit employees and authorizing the city manager to take all necessary steps to effectuate the plan, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
is there a motion on tab I? Item fail. Tab J,
Just for the record, tab I fails for lack of motion. Tab J, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulation, specifically at Article 5 entitled Division Standards, to include a new division 22 entitled Distance Requirement for Certain Retail Uses to mitigate the proliferation of specific retail uses, specifically as it applies to the downtown commercial corridor, and to encourage a more diverse and productive business environment as envisioned in the City of North Miami Downtown Master Development and Major Corridor Plan, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
this is the second reading on tab J. Madam City Attorney. Would you please refresh the memory, tab J, what it's all about?
She doesn't remember.
She doesn't?
Yes, this is an item sponsored by the mayor, and it creates a distance from between certain retail stores such as
Tax services, beauty salon.
tax services, beauty salons, and
Thank
so
you.
forth.
Thank you. Is
In the
there a motion
downtown
on tab
corridor.
J?
So moved.
Second? Mr. Clerk,
I have a
you have a question?
yeah. What do you mean by distance in terms of what?
Distance between the businesses.
What do we have now? Like, are you saying that we cannot have this? I mean, two beauty salons in the same shopping center or in the same building?
15, there have to be 1,500 feet within.
That what we have
with
right
each
now.
other.
What is
This
it
is
now?
what this is. There is no
We
distance
have them one on
requirement
top.
currently.
We have them one on top of the other.
That's weird. Okay.
How many we have down here, right here, between 6 and 9? How much is a lot? About 20 something of them in 2 blocks. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
24.
Okay, the motion was made by Councilman Galvin,
Four.
seconded by Mayor Thundrell. I have a quick question in terms of implementation. As you know, the clerk office issues the business tax receipts. What happens now?
Their grandfather.
Grandfather.
Their
They're
grandfather
This is
in.
for new business.
So new businesses, this is going to be regulated on the zoning area, right? So when
Yes.
they go
Zoning
get their
department
certificate of
will-
use, the zone is going to, okay, very good. Just wanted to know. All right, roll call vote. This motion was made by Galvin, seconded by Mayor Thundro. Mayor Thundro.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bienaimé.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril.
Yes.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0. It's tab J.
Tab K.
Tab K, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of North Miami, entitled Administration, Article 3, entitled Boards, Committees, Commissions, Divisions 2 through 10, specifically at sections 2-61, 2-82, 2-158, 2-187, 2-201, 2-217, 2-227, 2-231, 2-238, and 2-249 by amending the board composition for the Board of Trustees of the North Miami Museum of Contemporary Art and by revising terms of office to allow for the terms of board and commission members to be coterminous with the term of the appointed council members, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and effective date.
This is the second reading, Madam Attorney?
Correct.
Hello, refreshment?
This item is sponsored by the mayor. She has requested that all boards, all persons that are appointed by current city or the future city council be coterminous with the terms of the elected officials. This ordinance also amends the ordinance related to the MOCA board and allows the city council to appoint 2 members each on the board.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Tab L. That's for the boards. I'll move it.
I'll second for discussion, but I think
Public-
that we need to have public.
Hearing.
Thundro and
Public hearing is open.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Frank Woland, 129.
You're done, right?
Here we go. I can't talk that fast. The manager and the mayor and the city attorney and some of you received a lawsuit today, and sadly, it is filled with inaccuracies, which I'm sure our staff is going to address. I'm very disappointed that a small group of misguided individuals have chosen to attempt to remove MOCA and its fine collection from North Miami. Our original ordinance, which was adopted, Ordinance 768, had provisions for the selection of trustees and for trustees to be appointed and to have a connection with the community, as well as the articles of incorporation of MOCA, which give the city council, this council, the power to remove trustees after the museum's board has had an opportunity to express its position on such removal to the council. I think it is time for this council to seriously consider having a discussion with the Board of Trustees in a public forum and considering whether or not they are truly committed to serving the cultural needs of this community. MOCA was established to serve this community, and its mission is to make contemporary art accessible to diverse audiences, especially underserved populations. There's an issue of the public trust here, which I think you need to address, and in view of how fast things are moving, it is my hope that the City Council will choose to address them immediately. I would strongly recommend and urge you to consider having a special meeting at the next opportunity, and I'm not talking about 2 weeks hence, to consider, you may want to meet with your attorney, as you're entitled to do an executive session, because now the city's been sued, the mayor's been sued, each of you have been sued. But I think also it is appropriate to keep this discussion in the public. And if those members of the board of directors don't want to come and have a discussion with the city, then maybe I think the city needs to be thinking about having a board that is more responsive to this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public forum is still open. Public forum is now closed. Council discussion.
A question to our attorney through the mayor. In light of the lawsuit Mr. Wolin referred to, does voting on this, are we still allowed to vote on this?
Yes, you are.
So there's no repercussions for voting for or against
There's
this?
no court order allowed that states that this body cannot implement its rules, cannot amend its ordinances as it does every 2 weeks.
Okay, so no injunction has been filed, and we can continue with our business.
No court order has been
Court order.
entered. There's been no court hearing on any matter that prevents this body from continuing to amend its ordinances accordingly.
Thank you.
This article is not only for the MOCA board. It's regarding
This article
all the boards.
regards several boards
Mhm.
in Chapter 2 as well. That is correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. Here's my I would say concern. I think what I'm seeing on tab, what is this? Okay, can't see that letter. I agree for all the other. How do you call those boards again? Advisory board. But to me, MOCA, it's a different board. MOCA is not an advisory board to us. It's a separate entity governed. I would say it's part of the city as well. But my concern is that having MOCA, if we have a mayor every 2 years or every 4 years and have council members appointing people, we're going to have a MOCA board just as an advisory board. So I think that MOCA it's way much more than an advisory board. We need people to know that they're going to be consistent, they're there for a longer term, and they have to take responsibility for the board to bring money in. So we're not talking about a fundraise of $100,000. We're not talking about $50,000 or $10,000. We're talking about a lot of money. So I would, my suggestion is that, and I see where the mayor is going with the advisory board, which I totally support, because if I just got elected, I want to have the say on who that I want to represent me, who has to represent me on any advisory board, and I agree with that. But I think that MOCA is in a different pattern. So we don't want to come every year that somebody just decided, okay, I have a friend of mine I want to put on MOCA board, and that person really cannot bring any money in and take MOCA as a community center instead of what MOCA is. Because to me, I went to different places, especially the one in California. I see how important their MOCA, and every person talking about MOCA as something extremely big. So treat it as an advisory board. I think it's kind of scary.
Okay. So you want to make a friendly amendment to this? We would put aside the MOCA board, because the problem is the city, who is entitled to appoint people in the board of MOCA, have failed to do so. Therefore, we have a group of people who have been treated our museum like their personal belongings or their personal assets, regardless of the citizens of this city, not creating a bond with the citizens and complaining that the city have not been there for them. And I believe that the board of MOCA have failed the citizen of this city, have failed this body here as a government, and it is important if we are going to start nominating people in the board. And I probably will agree with Councilwoman Sterill when she says it cannot be as the advisory board. I mean, people, it's not that they are not important, but MOCA's type of people that we are going to appoint to the board is going to be totally different than the regular activists that we had in our boards representing us. And
having saying that, if you allow me, Madam Mayor, I know that I did not vote on that item the first hearing. And to me, I think that I know there are a lot of people that have great insight about a museum that can actually help us to understand how we can, because one of the things that I have to tell you that this is the first body that's take action to wants to be part. I have been talking about that, right, Mr. City Manager? I have been talking about how much that we can get involved, but we never take no action. I cannot just sit here and saying that MOCA never get involved, but we ourselves as a city, we sit back. Yes, we invest money, but we never put no effort to go and to tell them, what are you doing? We want to get involved. We want to know what's going on. They're the one that actually raising all the money. So if you give them, why not take? We go to the events, yeah, but as a council up here, it's finally, I know the Mayor Pierre has been talking a lot about MOCA, yes, but we never actually ask them and request and visit the contract that we have with them to tell them this is the part that we want to play. We never have done.
Well, that's
we never
why I
done
said
that.
there have been a
So-
laissez-faire. That is why the board is treating MOCA like if it was their personal thing.
If I may, before, I think, before we get into too many details in terms of our relationship with MOCA, since there is a pending lawsuit, I would rather
Sorry.
for us not to
So can we
go
can-
down that rabbit hole.
So can we make a friendly amendment?
No,
To that second reading, is it possible or is it too late?
no.
Since the first reading had passed already.
You can.
Madam Mayor, I really appreciate the fact that you give me the privilege to make a friendly amendment, but I'm not even, I don't think that I'm even ready to make the friendly amendment, because I would rather, if it's possible, to consult with someone that actually understand museum, and then give me an advice, or give us, any one of us, an advice to see that what kind of a friendly amendment I will make to actually cater.
No, it is entail to remove MOCA from this article and move on with the rest of the boards. This is what I had in mind for the friendly amendment. Amendment.
Say, what is it?
To remove MOCA from the rest of the adjustment of the boards, advisory boards that we have in the city.
This is a different item, though.
She said it's part of it. Madam Attorney.
Okay, it may be helpful if we're all looking at the same document. So if you would open up the tab.
What is it we're looking at? K?
Tab K.
Look
K.
at tab K.
What is it? The packet?
Yeah.
The packet?
Open
Yeah.
it.
So just click on K
Mine
and
doesn't
then open it up. And when you get down to the second page, Division 2, 2-61, and you can see what is underlined as being
Okay.
new and what is
What
struck
letter,
through
A,
as
B?
being.
What letter?
So your particular issue, it seems, is C1, which is on page 3.
It's not available.
C1 is in
Yeah.
the last sentence. The term
Correct.
of those board members appointed by the city council shall be coterminous with the appointing elected officials' term of office.
Correct.
That's the part that you.
Yeah, and if we can add as, but we have to add an agreement. How do we remove? In what circumstance that a member can be removed?
Okay, so if you go down to.
Just like as a regular contract.
If you go down to 3, sub 3.
Section or sub?
So you were looking at 1, so 2 and 3.
Okay. Any member may be removed by a majority of the city. Okay. Okay. Beautiful.
So whose amendment would it be? So it's going to be the mayor's amendment to remove MOCA board from this ordinance? Or
No, that's what we're doing now.
From striking out one sentence which begins in C1, and it says, "The term of those board members appointed by the city council shall be coterminous with the appointing elected officials' term of office." Is that correct?
And that's what we're striking out?
And that's what you wish to strike out?
Correct.
So in layman's language, what you're saying, if we approve this as amended, is that if I appoint John Doe to serve on the planning commission and I leave office, John Doe remains on the planning
If it's
commission.
performing.
Not the planning commission. Just this would be only for
Just
the MOCA
MOCA.
board.
So this would be,
Only.
I thought that the coterminus would apply to all of our boards, including the MOCA board.
Councilwoman Sterrell said she disagreed with that
What-
concept,
okay,
and she
what-
believed that it should not apply to the MOCA board. That's
So
what her.
in layman's language, please explain to me what the friendly amendment that's being suggested does to what we were going to approve tonight.
It would no longer allow the new council person to appoint someone automatically. That the previous council person's appointee would not automatically terminate
On the
MOCA.
MOCA
upon their,
On the
for
MOCA
the
board.
MOCA
On the
board
MOCA
only.
Okay,
Only.
and for all the other boards that we
That's,
have?
they're all treated separately.
Okay.
They're all treated differently.
So
So
the
each of the other boards have separate divisions and sections.
Didn't we give direction at one recent meeting to sort of bring that all together?
So
That's
they're
why
all
we're
in
here
this
with the
ag-
numbers.
agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're
I
all,
apologize, my father passed, so if I don't have the immediate recall, please
I'm,
don't.
no, I'm fine. I'm just letting you know that they're all in this agenda. I'm just
Okay,
telling you that they're all in this agenda. So your question and your concern is being addressed. So you're good. All of the boards that you have discussed previously, the planning commission, that's coming up. The BOA is coming up. Business development is coming up.
so
We
tonight's
discussed some.
applies only to the MOCA board.
So no. Tonight applies to, so this particular chapter applies to several of the boards. This particular one applies to the Charter Board. It applies to the Planning, Parks and Recreation Commission, applies to the Youth Opportunity Board, applies to the Advisory Committee for Persons with Special Needs, applies to
All the boards.
the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. It applies to the Charter School Authority. Just this one. So then the next ordinance is going to apply to other boards. Since they're in, each of the boards are in different chapters in the code, so we can't just do it all, just have one ordinance. It has to be separate ordinances because they each relate to particular chapters.
My assumption in looking through it last night was just that it had
Yeah,
everything, and so I
no. So
misinterpreted
you're good.
what
No,
I read,
you're
so I
fine. You're
apologize
fine.
for my
You're fine.
confusion.
It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
But you understand my amendment, though, Scott?
Yeah, in this, your friendly amendment would, for the MOCA board only,
Yeah,
let that member continue to serve.
yeah. Until there is
Unless
something
the
crazy
council were to
coming,
take
and
some
then
specific
we,
action to remove it.
correct.
Are we leaving the three-year term limit in there? We didn't strike that, correct?
No term limit. Why should we give them term limit?
Because it says that they would serve for a term of 3 years.
No, there shouldn't be no term limit.
Well, it shouldn't be a life term either. There should be a,
But
I think
council can decide it.
3 years is enough for any person. They can always be reappointed if they're doing a good job, and if they're not, then you can
I
remove
agree.
them.
I agree.
I think 3 is a good number.
They can be reappointed. That is that they have to go automatically, but if they're doing a good job, they can be reappointed, and if not, it's the opportunity to say goodbye.
Okay, here's my little concern. You see how we try to understand what MOCA is, although that we're full of emotion about how they're treating us. But I am assuming that maybe the next council or in the 3 years just see MOCA as something totally different than what it's supposed to be. So, but we still have the power. If we don't want a board member, the council, whoever's going to be around the next 3 or 100 years, can vote to remove a member, right?
That is correct.
Okay, but if it's not up, if it doesn't break, you don't fix it. So I'm concerned that if we give them 3 years, the consistency is not there, and the sense of belonging is not there, or the sense of urgency, like it's mine, is not there. Because I'm what I'm seeing is that when I look at MOCA, those are people that take ownership of MOCA. So we need to give them the feel of ownership, even the sense of ownership. But yet again, we know that up here we still have the last word. We still can vote them out, but give them the sense of ownership for they can work.
Well, that's not the case at all. It's not. Nobody have not giving them any sense.
No,
As
I'm
a matter
not,
of fact,
I'm not
Okay, because we are giving them
Don't-
too
don't-
much
don't
sense
do
of
that.
ownership.
No, it's okay.
That's
Let it-
why they are taking us to court.
Let it go. So my friendly
Madam
amendment
Attorney.
is to,
Am I wrong?
yeah, you're wrong. You should not talk about it. She said, don't.
She said to give them the sense of ownership.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, now,
Okay,
Mr. Clerk.
So this is what I have, Mayor.
Yes.
So this motion was made by Mayor Thundro, second by Councilman Galvin, with amendments. And the amendment is the following, to strike this following language from C1 from the ordinance, which is, the language is, the term of those board members appointed by the city council shall be coterminous with the appointing elected officials' term of office. That language will be stricken, which is in C1 of the ordinance. And those are the amendments you guys have voted on. So we have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the roll call vote, Mayor, if you allow me to.
Hold on. Councilman Galvin has a
Sure,
question.
thank you. I like the suggestion that was made to have a special executive session about the Mocha lawsuit
Yes,
and its board membership.
yes.
Can we
I-
discuss?
That is coming to council report. We can do
I-
and give directions to the
okay,
city attorney.
Okay.
All right?
Vice Mayor Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril,
Yes.
Mayor Thundro,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0 with
Can
the
you
amendments.
clarify what the amendment was?
Yeah, oh,
Just clarify. that.
Just voted.
I know, but just
but
clarify for the
apparently
public.
all what happened, the amendment is the language that is located in C, subsection C1. We're just removing one sentence, and that sentence is, the term of those board members appointed
Right.
by the city council shall be coterminous with the appointing elected officials' term of office. That's the section that involves the Mocha board. That's the only language,
Right.
that only sentence was removed.
We
And that's
didn't-
what you guys
okay,
voted on.
Just like to be clear.
Thank you.
Okay. then. Tab L, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 15 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances by creating section 15-138 entitled Retirement.
But this should be removed,
Yeah.
Mr. Manager.
Because I didn't get it.
I
Yes.
didn't get
So-
there.
Yes.
So L should be removed.
Okay. Can Madam City Attorney, although that is removed, I'm not discussing remove, but I have a question.
Yes.
Or should I ask it later?
Well,
Is
we
it
cannot discuss it. It has been removed.
okay?
Okay, so tab L has it officially been
We
removed.
remove it.
L was the ordinance that would have backed up the
The
resolution.
resolution.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I-
The
I-
resolution dies, so there's no
I-
reason to
Okay,
ask questions.
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. I got it. I'm gonna ask.
Mr. Clerk.
Tab M, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations, Article 2 entitled Decision Making and Administrative Bodies, Divisions 2 through 4, specifically at sections 2-202, 2-302, and 2-402 by amending terms of office to allow for the terms of Planning Commission, Board of Adjustment, and Business Development Board members to be coterminous with the term of the appointing council member, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
So this is just so that I can follow up on that. So this is the similar ordinance, and it affects three boards: Planning Commission, Business Development Board, and the Board of Adjustment, in terms of the coterminous terms with the elected officials.
We can vote all of them together.
Yeah, in the LDR, in Chapter 29.
Move approval of tab M as in Mary.
Second.
Oh, do we have to have a public hearing though? Sorry.
Public hearing closed. Mr. Clerk.
Mayor Thundro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril,
Yes.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bieneme.
Yes.
For the record, tab M passes 5-0.
And no.
M is in Mary, right?
Okay, yeah,
Good,
let's go to
okay.
N.
Tab N, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 16 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Public Places, Article 2, entitled Public Library, specifically in section 16-17, by amending terms of office to allow for the terms of library board members to be coterminous with the term of appointed council members, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date. That is tab N.
So move. That's the same thing, isn't it?
Same,
Different.
That's for the
but this is
library
just for
board.
the library board,
Second.
correct.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Mayor Thundrow,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Steril. Tab N passes 5-0. Tab O, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 15 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Personnel, Pensions, and Retirement, Article 1, entitled Department of Personnel, specifically at section 15-4, by amending the terms of office for personnel board members appointed by city council members to be coterminous with the term of the appointing council members, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
Madam Attorney, this is for the personal board?
Correct.
Okay, so move.
Second.
Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed. Mr. Clerk?
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Mayor Thundrow,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril, Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Tab O passes 5-0. Whew. Okay, now tab P. Discussion and approval to initiate the sale of the property known as Biscayne Landing of approximately 175 acres and authorizing the city manager to begin the due diligence process by securing 2 independent appraisals paid by developer and to begin negotiations with the legal partners for a price most favorable to the city.
Madam
Is
Mayor.
there's a motion, we can move it for discussion, and then we can ask the question. I'll second it for discussion. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed.
What
Well, what takes you so long
What is the motion?
on tab
P.
P?
To approve P.
Not to-
I
No,
I
it's a
already,
motion for
It's a
discussion, not to
discussion.
approve. It's a motion for discussion.
Motion to
Oh.
discuss?
My apologies.
discuss.
My apologies. I'm not on my A game tonight. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
as I said before, and as I will briefly reiterate, Frank Woland, 12934 Banyan Road. There were a lot of huge numbers bandied about, and I'm not sure that this is the economy. I'm not sure this is the economy and the time for us to have this discussion unless we are required under the lease to have the discussion. In other words, if our lease with Biscayne Landing says, as it does, as I understand it, that within the first 20 years, as long as they've met certain conditions, they can tell the city, we want to buy it, and then the city needs to sell it to them at a price to be arranged. My understanding also is, though, that those conditions may not have been met. And I would like to think that the city council will do everything in its power to maximize the benefit that this property that we have all paid so much and sacrificed so much for over all these years will give us. So the maximum benefit may not be, 2 pounds of silver now when it may be 200 pounds of silver later. I don't know how you take the billions of dollars that Mr. Swerdlow originally promised us and Mr. Lefrak has the ability to deliver and reduce it to its present value. But I feel that when you use another system, in other words, if you want to use appraisers as opposed to accountants to come up with those values, that you may be doing the city a disservice. So I would urge you to study this before you vote yes or no, and have discussion and consult some experts, rather than in 2 minutes deciding on what you're going to do that's going to take away something that the city residents will own for the next 200 years. Thank you.
Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed. You wanted to speak, Mayor? Thank you. Mr. Manager, I've been hearing during Citizens Forum people talking about the project. Is this the project, and how did it come to be on the agenda?
The developer, at any time, I understand what the lease agreement that Mr. Rowland was talking about, But in any contract that you have, anybody at any time, whether it's the city or whether it's the other party, can request anything to amend the contract. It happens in the contract world every day. In this particular situation, it's on the agenda because the developer approached me to follow up on the item that was previously here, and had made an offer to get 2 appraisals that the city would go out and pick and select. And I agree with Mr. Wallen, maybe perhaps getting some experts to evaluate the property and to, at their expense, and get that report. Once that report came, we then would bring that report back to the council. It's sort of misleading here that once we get that report, we would automatically start to just negotiate. That would not be the position of city staff. We would bring that report back, make it available before the council, and say, this is what it means. The numbers may be too low, and the council may say, you know what, we're not even interested in pursuing to negotiate this at all. The numbers could be very high, and the council may say, wow, this appraisal really works in our favor. This expert's opinion really works in our favor. This property is worth $100 million.
So are you saying that the developer is willing to put out some money and do an appraisal for the good eyes of the city council and mayors? I'm trying to understand the logic behind it. If it's something just for educational purpose, why would the developer be interested in paying for something? If we want to know it, we should be the one paying for it and find out how much that thing is really worth.
Well, it's the risk of the developer. If the developer, in my opinion, is interested in moving the opportunity to purchase the property, it's a risk that they're going to take. Because if you want to go out and get the appraisals at whom we pick and pay for them, there's no obligation to us. We don't have to sell. And if they're willing to take that risk because they do want to purchase, and that's the risk that they have to take, that's the risk that they have to take. But we can theoretically get those appraisals, and appraisal can come back and say, that property is only worth $20 million. And they could tell us why it's worth $20 million. And we could look at it and evaluate that report, and we can agree or disagree and say, you know what, $20 million, but you know what, let's stay where we are. We like collecting that $1 million over the next period of this lease. No, thank you. Have a nice day. Yes, that's the risk that this developer is willing to take. I can't make that decision. It has to be a policy decision, but there is due diligence to at least bring it before the council. But yes, it in some sense it does sound bizarre. The advantage that it would have with the developer is this: if the council decided that yes, we will sell, and the developer and the council came up with agreed upon price, we would only do it if it's advantageous to us. They would only buy it if it's advantageous to them. And if they do buy it, it's because we agreed to it.
Where was the perception that the city is willing to sell ever came from? I fail to see. We came from a closed hearing,
that, Mayor.
Where we discuss the soil, the contaminated soil. We talk about appeal. And now we are into selling. I am trying to see where are we? I mean,
this has nothing to do with the soil.
Where is the idea of selling ever came from? I'm trying to understand from the battle of the soil. I know that this has been the problem since November with the developer. And how come today we are into consideration of having an appraisal for to see how much the land is worth. I'm trying to understand
Sure.
from one extreme to another, where are we coming from there? How did we get there?
I can explain, Mayor.
Okay.
This is an item that you had on the agenda some time ago and you removed. The developer just simply asked to revisit the idea. At the time, you had made it an agenda item and then you decided to take it back. So it's not where, I don't know where the council is. I don't know if the council is interested in even pursuing this. It's just a simple request that they had. It was previously removed. They asked me to bring it back, and I can't make that decision. They offered to say, hey, just let us go get an appraisal and we'll go get it and we'll pay for it. I'm not going to make that decision without the council simply knowing about it. So it's being just simply revisited to be brought back before the council. So that's where the idea originated from.
Discussion, council?
Sure, I don't want to have any discussion of selling the property. I'm ready to move on. If you want me to motion to remove this from tonight's or whatever, I'm willing to do that, but I don't want to belabor a discussion I don't think that we're interested in having.
Any other question?
I'd like to make a comment. Just for clarification, the developer does have an option to purchase a portion of the land. They have the option to purchase approximately 50 acres, not the 175 acres that is mentioned in here.
Are you reading from the list?
I'm reading from the lease. There is an option to purchase.
Okay.
Before they can exercise their option, they must meet certain requirements in the Exhibit D of the lease, which has not been met yet. So really, they're not entitled, the developer's not entitled yet. And a lot of important things that would have to be met that aren't, which I would like to see done, is we still need a stormwater master plan. And I don't know if your landfill closure permit is completed. It requires building permits for 500,000 of leasable square feet. That would be up to the board if they would want to waive that before you could start. And another very important item that must be, in my mind, completed is the creation of the homeowners association. So this could be an impetus to get our developer to start working on this. I don't have a problem if the developer wants to pay for an appraisal. I'm only interested in appraisal on the 50 acres, 50 plus acres, that they have the right to purchase at some point when they're in compliance with the contract. There are other things we can negotiate, and the question is, they also cannot be in default. We haven't decided if we're in default with the issue of the fill, so I'm sure we would want the fill removed also. So I don't have a problem just getting an appraisal. The resolution says initiate the sale. I'm not interested in initiating any sale. If you want us to get an appraisal, you want to pay for it for the 50 acres, I don't have a problem. But that doesn't mean we have any obligation to go ahead with any negotiations or to jump the gun and enter and allow you to exercise your option.
If I might, though, I worry that even going down that road and doing an assessment, sort of slippery slope, sets it up to be sold. Because if we're going to go through all that and just say no, why not just say no right now? That's my feeling, is it'll create this conception for the next odd number of weeks while this assessment is being done, and people will be like, oh my God, I heard you're selling mocha, and then we're explaining, excuse me.
What is
It's
this?
okay. Hey,
Yeah, you forget.
he has a good
Just put it
excuse.
in.
He has
Yeah.
good
Put it in,
excuse.
okay?
Sorry. But we hear that you're selling part of Biscayne Landing, and then we're explaining, and if we don't want to sell it, then let's just put this bad boy to bed and move on with lots of other business we got to do.
At some point, they're going to have the option and the ability to do
Whatever.
that. Okay.
Not now.
Let me, if I may, my name is Brett Dill, president of the Swardlow Group.
Wait. Hold on, Brett. You don't have the floor.
Huh?
You don't have the floor.
Okay, let me know when
We are
it's my
having
turn.
council discussion.
Okay.
Madam Steele.
I don't know where to begin with Biscayne Landing at this point right now. I think I am so disappointed with the whole biscuit lending charade. I'm not sure what we're doing. I don't know. We were in a lawsuit. We were doing appeal. We did executive meetings, and we have a soil to be removed. We selling. We have a developer that actually is spending money, giving us good reports. We clap. We hug. I don't know what we're doing. What we're doing? Where are we? Give us an update. What exactly?
Through the mayor,
I'm glad to see that
Councilwoman.
I'm not the only one that is
Yeah,
lost here.
Sure. Through the mayor, Councilwoman, this item has nothing to do.
Not just the item. Let's just
the-
look at biscuit lending. The day that I took the picture with the $20 million that we
Sure.
signed a contract,
I
and
wasn't there and I didn't touch it.
I know I did. I took a picture and I was so cute. I posed for $20 million, which was good.
So we need to bring another $20 million.
And,
Those of us who were not there can pose for it.
Yeah, you're right. So you signed a contract. Actually, I'm glad that Councilwoman Keys go over the contract where we were supposed to be right now with biscuit lending. And again, it's the same as since Scott mentioned Mocha. I think that I am going to write on that too. It's the same thing, that we as guilty as Olita partners on this thing. We charade, we parade around it, we play around it, we politicize it, and we're still here. We're not getting any money from that. We're not making money, definitely. The city, we're going to have to do a budget pretty soon that we actually balance with this biscuit lending money. In biscuit lending money, the people, the Olita partners are spending money right now. So we're still not doing anything. And I think for us to entertain biscuit lending, every council meeting we bring in a different item about biscuit lending. So we love saying biscuit lending.
Yeah,
So where we're supposed to be right now? What is it? In terms of, if you have to give an update about biscuit lending,
I mean,
what would it be?
the soil's still there, so discussion over to me.
What is it?
Any large development like this is always complex.
Yeah,
It's-
but this
it's
is not
gonna be
complex. This is beyond stupidity. We're not doing anything.
Right.
Come on. That's not complex.
It is very difficult, and it is very challenging because it's, the developer made a mistake. They got dirt there. We're proceeding with the removal of that dirt. I think that the developer, in a sense of frustration, it just simply in their mind says, if I buy it, then I won't have to deal with, if I make a mistake, if I bring items before, are they going to get passed? Are they not going to get passed? It's going to be very challenging. This is going to be it's no different from the item at North Miami Beach. They are where they are, but it took several years for them to even get there. And it's conducive for developments. I personally think that if the land is sold,
That is ridiculous.
you don't have to deal with the headache anymore. But as long as you are there and your item's going to have to, as long as we
Where's
own
the
that
headache
land-
coming from? Where's
I'm
the
sorry?
headache coming from?
Where's what?
Where is the headache coming from? Is there? Is it
the-
an overload of headaches that we're
No.
carrying that we can no longer carry? Why are you calling it headache? The fact that there's a board that is ensuring that the rules and the contract is respected. It's not a headache. It's
Mayor-
our duty to ensure that
Sure.
if there's a contract, the contract is applied accordingly.
When we did this contract with Biscayne Landing, my recommendation as the city manager at that time was, number one, don't do the deal with this developer.
I remember.
Number two, since we did the deal with this developer, I said, don't do a lease, sell. Because the lease has so many components. You have local preference, you have grant money, you have so many things tied to this lease that it would take an entire staff to look and be a watchdog over this lease. And as long as you have a lease with this many components inside of it, items will always come before this council. So that's the type of contract the previous administration wanted, and you will always have items come on this agenda as in for the next 99 years.
But that
that's going to be
that
dealing.
wouldn't be a problem. That will not be that wouldn't be a problem if those issues come before us and we agree to deal with them. But apparently, this is the first time in my 9 years dealing with Biscayne Lane that I am seriously tired.
That's who we
because
married,
we are
Councilwoman.
not doing what is it?
That's who we married.
No. I have been married for
but our-
25 years, and I'm not tired with him. I love him, and I want another 25 years. But for 9 years with Biscayne Lane, I am already tired. I can't even. Not you. Not you.
It's
I
only
didn't
really
marry
been
you.
it's only been a year and a half.
So
but
it's
that's
seriously we look tired. Actually, council don't even want to do anything with Biscayne Landing, and it's a shame. It's very not fair to them, So we need to decide what we want to do.
Which
Do
way
we
we're
want?
gonna go?
We
Can
need to decide.
Councilwoman, can we give the opportunity to
Mr.
developer?
has that.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Brett Dill. I'm the president of the Swardlow Group. This wasn't intended to be controversial at all, and it was pretty interesting. I guess we've got a lot of former mayors who are still interested in what's going on in the city, and it was, and Mr. Wolin was correct. There was a lot of financial analysis that was provided at the outset of the lease, and those are all things that need to be reproduced again. And then Mayor Celestin followed up, and rightfully so, that what we're proposing in being able to offer for sale product on the site, and there's tremendous advantages to having fee-owned land is new customers, a lot of which are international. But anybody who comes to buy a condominium unit, and maybe they're on vacation, maybe they're local, but you hand them a lease and they need to take it to an attorney, and that spur of the moment, that may alienate a particular buyer. But I think Mr. Wolin was right, and Mr. Celestin was also right in that, and we need to demonstrate it to you, is that the economics for the city are vastly improved. Because of the enhanced value of for sale product, your ad valorem taxes will be, we estimate, 2.5 to 3 times what they would be with the existing lease circumstance. So not only are you looking at an upfront payment based on this appraiser's value, but you're looking at a cash flow stream over the next 200 years that we estimate to be multiples of what it is under the lease structure. And those are all things we need to demonstrate to you, as well as the plan that you'd get. What was requested of the city manager wasn't thought to be controversial. We have work to do on our side as well, but in terms of the city getting started and understanding what the value is of that stream of lease payments and all the complexities that are there, we offered to pay for you to start those processes. That's it. This is like not a big pressure thing. We just volunteered to help in starting that process, with us then coming back and demonstrating to you how much more beneficial your economics are over over the period this project's here, which is, you guys stated, will out-survive everybody in this room.
So, what's in it for you?
What's in it for us? Ultimately, we think we will make more profit, and you'll make more profit if we're able to offer for-sale product to the residents rather than having, and listen, the 151 on Biscayne is being sold with the ground leases. It's okay. Those guys are doing a great job, but we think we get a much higher overall quality of project if the land's owned rather than on leased land, and we'll demonstrate those with numbers. We just merely volunteered to let you begin the process of understanding the valuation. So when we come to you and say, here's what we're going to be able to do, and here's what it means to you, that you will have already started some of the longer lead items that you'll need to evaluate a decision that'll be yours at that time, whether you want to sell us portions or all of the land.
Okay. Mr. Bien-Aimé, you wanted to say something?
And I have a question. From what I understand, you want to buy 175 acres, right?
We would entertain the 50-acre number up to 175 acres, or in increments if that's what the city desires. This is really to start discussions and not make the mistakes that we have in the past, where we spring something on you without having given you all the materials you need to understand the background of what we're requesting.
What happening with the contaminated soil on the field right now?
That soil is still sitting on the site.
What you want to do with it?
We believe that soil is best served to be being used underneath the roads in other places other than the lake fill on the site. And we've publicly stated, my colleague, Mr. Tillman, I guess both Tillmans, I've got a Michael Tillman and a Herb Tillman, who've both expressed the fact that we will not use that fill in the lakes.
Where did you express it, Madam Attorney? Did we got a what? A letter from them?
A stipulation stating that, yes.
Where is it? We don't have a copy.
How come we don't have a copy of it?
What we did during the...
It was a draft. No, we had a draft. It was a draft like...
But it's not an official letter from you guys.
Yes, it's an official stipulation.
The draft?
Draft or...
The draft
There
we had
is-
when we had that
No.
closed meeting?
No. We didn't have a draft at the closed meeting. We discussed it. There was an official stipulation.
Where is it?
I will
Saying what?
be saying that they will not use the soil in the lake.
Okay, that was okay.
Yes.
Now, what you going to do with the soil?
Our intention would be to use it under the roads and the impermeable surfaces, other than lake fill.
Don't you think is some kind of disrespect to the council, to this council, to this body, that we ask you to remove it and you keep it there, try to do something else, and at the same time come to the council and want to buy it? That's mean if you buy it, now you're going to have to deal with us, you're going to deal with them only.
No, I don't consider it disrespectful. I think there were things that we did that I will apologize for that were maybe, once again, and I'm trying to change that behavior, that we could have communicated better along the way. And I think with both staff and our staff, I think we've all learned from that. I don't think all the science, and the manager can tell you how many professionals have now looked at that soil and used the way we're contemplating using it absolutely 100%. And I think the numbers, some 30-plus scientists that have reviewed this, say that there is absolutely no health risk associated with this fill used in that manner. And so I would actually think that it's wasteful and we're a partnership, and with the city, and you know what? The way I was raised, to spend $2+ million to remove soil, there's absolutely no scientific foundation or reason for removing that soil. I would say that's wasteful
But that's
and kind
the will of
of
the-
disrespectful to.
That's the will of the owner of the land, of the field.
It may be the will, and I don't know if it is the will. I'd be interested in hearing now that everybody understands this much better. I'll tell you, my belief is we both made mistakes. We made mistakes in not communicating our data earlier with you. I think you guys made a mistake in requesting the removal before we all understood. I'll tell you.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this item to the next meeting or remove it fully altogether. Again, we've said it 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways, and the soil is still there. There's no conversation to be had with me, and I don't want to be here ad nauseum into the evening. We've spoken with a clear voice repeatedly that was he's trying to get a bug, to tell you guys to move the soil. And Councilman is right. We own the land. We do get to have some sort of say, despite what you and your scientists want to do.
With all due respect, those were your scientists.
Whose ever scientists they are, we've said it 1,000 times, 1,000 ways, and here's why you've got fatigue with us right now, because we've had a Biscayne Landing item for like 5 straight meetings because you brought soil onto our land, and then we've had to tell you time and again to get it off there, and now you're here asking us to sell you land, and you still haven't gotten it off. I'm done. I'd move to continue this.
All right, we need to move on. Is there a motion on tab
I just want to be done with it.
P? Mr. Clerk,
Can I?
Mr. Clerk, can you please?
We did have a motion.
We had a motion for discussion. It was not a motion to approve.
Now, that is the confusing part. From what I understand, there's no difference between the two, if I'm not mistaken. I'll let the city attorney clarify that.
You've discussed it, so now you would like to move to do what? It seems like there was a motion to continue it?
I will remove my motion to continue because we're now going to take some action. I just didn't want it. We were going back and forth about we're going to be good and we're going to be good and we're going to be good. I'm tired of that tonight. So
No, it's a motion.
So I would like to see this die a cold death. So I'm not going to make any motion at all at this moment. I'll just shut up and let everybody else who might want to do that.
Thank you. Is there a motion? We need to move on.
I have a motion.
Okay, wait, you have a good question. Apparently, there is no difference between a motion to discuss and a motion for approval.
Correct. So once you make a motion, you make a motion to advance the item.
We made the
So-
motion for the sake of discussion.
It was just for discussion.
We
not
just
to
wanted
approve
to
anything.
discuss it. It was not a motion for us to vote on approval or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why we said a motion for discussion. Now, is there a motion to vote on?
I make a motion to postpone this to the next agenda.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Mr. Clerk.
Since apparently we like talking about Biscayne Landing.
Vice
So
Mayor,
if we hold on, if we bring it to the next agenda, what is going to be different than what we have discussed
Not a
We're gonna
already?
darn
make-
thing.
And
What's the idea of keep bringing it from agenda to agenda if it's not going to go anywhere? It's not a motion like people needs more information, we need to go and study this more deeply. We're bringing it just for the sake of wasting time. We need once and for all, as a body, to make a decision tonight, how we're going to deal with this situation. Because bringing it next agenda meeting is going to be, again, the same thing that we've been saying all over the place. Now, I would respectfully suggest that somebody make another type of motion so we know where we stand with this particular item.
If we make no motion, it fails and it goes away.
Is there a motion?
yes, Mayor, we had a motion made by...
Agenda item fell.
Done.
Thank you. May I please suggest that we take a 10-minute recess before we continue?
Can we make it real 10-minute, because I'm not.
Real
going to
10
be here
minutes.
till Monday. Thank you.